Hey guys, welcome to my Autodesk Sketchbook tutorial on how to draw a holiday wreath. So to draw our wreath, the first thing we want to do is we want to get our brushes set up. And I like to use this button down here to get to my shortcuts. And one of the shortcuts is called a double puck. I'm going to click this right here, and it's going to pull out a little tool that contains my brush as well as the color that I'm using. I can click on the top dot to select whatever brush I'd like to use. When I click on that dot, it's going to bring up the settings box. But right next to that, I can click on the word library so that I can select any of the brushes that Autodesk has to offer. My favorite drawing one happens to be this inking pen. When I click back to settings, I can go right here to adjust the size of the pen. Then I can also adjust the opacity. But since our wreath is going to kind of look like a coloring book page at first, we want that opacity all the way up to 100, so it's not very see-through. To make these pop-up boxes disappear, I'm simply going to use my finger or stylus to tap in the gray area. Now I'm ready to select my color. I can do that by clicking the bottom dot. And I can select my color up here in the rhombus. I can use the hue selector down here, or because we're going to be doing a black outline, I can just come down here to lightness and turn this all the way down because the darkest value of each color is black. Now I'm ready to start using some of the tools along the top toolbar to make this job a lot easier. And the first tool is going to be the Symmetry Tool. That's this one right here in the middle. It has a dashed line with two wiggly lines on other sides, and it lets us use many different types of symmetry. The one that we're going to choose for this project is the radial or rotational symmetry. And you can actually select how many sections you want for your radial symmetry by moving this little slider back and forth. I'm going to go ahead and stick with 7 sections. Now, I'm ready to start drawing, but to make it a little bit easier, I want to zoom into one of my sections. I know that using the Symmetry tool, whatever I draw in this section is going to appear here, 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 and here. So I don't really need to see all of them, just one. So I'm going to go ahead and use my pinchers to zoom in on my picture. Now I can start drawing, and we're going to start by drawing a simple leaf shape. I want to make sure that when I'm drawing my shapes that I close them all the way off. The fill tool won't work really well if I have open shapes. If you want to go ahead and add some detail in there, you're more than welcome to. And I might choose to start with maybe 2 leaf shapes. Now, what Christmas wreath is complete without some holly berries? And holly berries are small circles, which can be really tough to draw, but Autodesk has a great tool that will help you with that. So if I look up at my top toolbar, I get to this one that looks like a skinny line. This is my productive stroke tool, and it's going to predict what I want to draw. So I'm going to put my level to about 4. Then when I come down here to my leaves and I try to draw a circle, even if my circle isn't perfect, it's going to snap it into the exact correct shape. Usually when we see holly berries, we see 3 of them together. It's just the traditional way that they're drawn, so it's easy to recognize. So I'll go ahead and use that predictive stroke tool to add those 3 holly berries. But then I want to turn it back off because I want to be able to have some freeform organic shapes as well. When I go to add the rest of my leaves, I can think about changing their shape or their size. So maybe some of these other leaves that I'm going to add are a little bit rounded. Again, I'm just making sure that all of my spaces are closed off. So if I have any leaves that go underneath another leaf, I want to make sure that I close them off as I get over here. Maybe I need another pointed leaf in here. And then possibly another holly berry to fill this. Oh, that one is a little wiggly. So I remember that right up here I have these back arrows. I can click that one time, and that's going to take that part away. Then I can go back to my predictive stroke tool. And remember that when I use that, it snaps it into the perfect circle. Once you're all done drawing, use your pincher fingers this time by pulling them together to zoom back out. What you have already is this beautiful holiday wreath. So now we need to color it in. I'm going to come back up to the top toolbar, and I'm going to click on the paint bucket. Now, the paint bucket has this great thing called tolerance. And tolerance is what's going to help keep it inside the lines or make sure those lines get totally filled. 77 is about a good place to set the tolerance for this project. Now I'm going to select my color. So I'm going to click on my double puck, and I'm going to start by picking the most obvious color, red. Don't forget that you can adjust its saturation and its lightness or its darkness. But once you have your color selected, you're going to go ahead and tap with your finger or stylus inside each of the things that you want to be that color. Don't forget, you can even change the color of your outline, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to zoom in, and that's going to make filling these dots a lot easier. No, unfortunately, when you're using the Symmetry tool, if you fill in one dot, it will fill in another dot, but you may not want to take that chance. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start filling these in. And I'll be right back when I'm all done with my holly. Now that I'm all done with my holly, I'm ready to start adding some green to my leaves. I'll go ahead and click there, and I'll change it over the green side, not forgetting that I can adjust these colors. Once I'm happy with my color, I'll click in the gray area, and then I can start using my color fill again. I don't want to make all of my leaves the same color though. So I'm going to leave some of these unfilled, and I'm going to come back over here to my green. I'm going to take my stylus or my finger, and I'm going to hold it down on the green, and I'm going to press up. This is going to lighten my green value, and I can see it right there. So I don't even need to select a new color. I can just change it that way. And now I can fill in a couple more of these. Changing the color is going to give me a little bit of variety in my piece of artwork. I can go ahead and maybe this time I pull downward, darkening the color. Again, to give my artwork just a little bit more variety. Whoop, back her up one time. Now I'm finally going to choose my last color. So maybe for this one, I have a color in mind that I use in my Copic markers that I really, really love. If you look at the top of this box, right next to color is Copic. Here, you can see all of those marker values that you're used to having when you're working with your Copic markers. So I'm going to go ahead and pick one of my reds because I really like R08. It's a brick red, and I think it would work fantastic for this wreath. Another really cool thing is that at the bottom, when it pulls up the color, it pulls up its complement. So this is going to be a great color to use to fill my background. So I'm going to go ahead and close that really quickly, and I'm going to finish up filling in some pieces of my wreath here using this brick red color. Oh, it looks like I missed a couple of leaves. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull out my color palette again, only this time I'm going to look for the dropper. I can use the dropper by gently pressing down and holding it over any certain color. Once the outside of the target is highlighted, I can let go, and that'll select that color. Now I can go ahead and I can finish these little leaves that I missed. Now, once I have my wreath all filled in, the last thing I need to do is fill in the background. And to go ahead and fill in the background, I'm going to pull out those Copic colors again. I'm going to remember my R08, and now I'm just going to come down here. I see its complement. We know it would be the perfect color, so I can go ahead and click on that color. It'll select it here in my double puck, and then I can fill in my background with that complementary color that really stands out and accentuates this piece, makes it look the best it possibly can. Notice I'm zooming in and out to try to make sure that I'm getting any empty spaces that I couldn't get to before. And voila! A beautiful Christmas wreath in a matter of minutes using our Autodesk Sketchbook. Happy holidays, everyone!